This is lesson 2 of media psychology, and today I'm going to talk about picking a topic and a title for your book. Now here's the first and most important rule of picking a topic. The topic must be compelling. Now what does that mean? That means when someone walks into a bookstore and sees your book on the shelf and sees the title, they want to buy it. They're compelled to buy it. So think about possible topics. How to improve your self-esteem. If someone walks into a bookstore, there's 100 books on improving your self-esteem. They aren't drawn to buy your particular book. Now, if you're Dr. Phil or Dr. Laura, you can afford to write a book like that. But people like us who don't have name recognition, the thing that's going to sell your book is the topic. Now let's talk about topics that won't work. If it's too broad, that's not going to work as a topic. So improving your self-esteem, that's a perennial self-help topic. It's already been done hundreds of times. How to parent, how to be your own therapist, dealing with difficult people. There are lots and lots of topics that are just too broad and no one is going to identify with it enough to compel them to buy your book. How about topics that are too narrow? A lot of people think they have a fascinating life story, and I'm sure you do have a fascinating life story, but no one's going to buy your book to read about your life story. If it's specific to a particular region or very narrow, if it doesn't have a sizable, identifiable group of interested people, it's not going to sell. And it has to be bigger than your group of friends. So think about also books that identify a problem but don't solve it. So maybe you're fascinated by schizoaffective disorder and you write more or less a diagnostic manual. That might be used as a textbook, but it's not going to be used as a self-help manual because it doesn't solve a problem. Exposés can be very exciting, but it won't work for this class because we're writing a self-help book. And books that have case studies. Well, you might include case studies in your book, but if it's a self-help book, you're going to talk about how to solve them. So what's the next step? The next step is taking that broad idea you have and honing it down so that it's a sellable self-help book. So start with a topic that you're interested in and that you have some expertise in. Go to Amazon.com, search for your topic, see what's already been written, and then focus your topic so that it's unique. Ask yourself, does my focus make my book different enough that a sizable number of people buy it instead of the bestsellers in the area? So look at the bestsellers, say, how can I make my book a little bit different so that people will say, well, the bestseller's good, but really the book that's perfect for me is this book. You can also make your topic unique. So you might want to write about self-help, about self-esteem, but if you hone it down to a specific population and write the self-esteem guide for people with Asperger's disorder, then you have a focused, identifiable audience. Or maybe a specific method that's mindfulness is a method that's fairly recent and is having more interest, and there's always a new therapy. So if you're familiar with a relatively new therapy, apply it to a new problem. Improve your self-esteem with mindfulness methods. A specific format. A lot of times books have been done in one way and you can do them in another way. The self-esteem workbook. Or a specific problem. How about self-esteem applied to body concept? Feel great about your body. Now your book should have specific, identifiable benefits. After people read it, they should be able to solve specific problems and accomplish specific goals and tasks. A lot of times the cover will have bullet points. This is what the book will do. So before you even start writing, you should have in your mind, these are 3 or 5 things that my book will accomplish. For instance, after you read the self-esteem guide for people with Asperger's, you'll be able to talk comfortably with anyone, a difficult task for people with Asperger's, make and keep friendships, and know and feel good about your strengths. Now, picking a title. Self-help books generally have titles that clearly describe their content. A book like The Lovely Bones, it's a bestseller, but doesn't tell you anything about what it's about. Self-help books, people should be able to Google topics they're interested in and come up with your book. The title should imply what the benefits are, tell you who the book is written for, and what it helps with.